WKYS #1 for hip hop and R&B in the DMV. It's Easy Street. That is Mya.
Hey, Easy. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a long time.
I heard you got a record. The
What?
people on the streets are talking about you in this record. What's going on with you?
Well, I've been independent for the last 7 years. I know everybody's wondering, where you been? You know, are you making music? But I've been making music. I've been putting out projects consistently on my label Planet 9, but independently. And Welcome to My World is the first single from the next project as a part of my EP series. It's available right now on iTunes. And, you know, I've been on my grind, hustling and paying for everything myself, and it's been a nice journey. Very educational.
Like doing this entrepreneur thing. How is this? I mean, business development. How does it feel to be on this side of the business?
It's awesome because things turn out the way I like it, you know, creatively, and there's no politics or anything like that involved. You know how the business can be as far as, you know, the label system and all of that. It's very fickle nowadays because of technology and all that, but it's been awesome because music is my first love. Mm-hmm. So I've never let any issues come into play and destroy my love for music, and that's why I've been doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
So now it's time for the people to hear the product. And this is on a grown and sexy tip. You know, I've been in this business for about 18 years now. Mm-hmm. And I'm just speaking on how I feel. And I really feel like this is the true beginning. Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, a lot of people, well, some people may not know that you are from D.C.
Yes, indeed.
Born and bred.
Yes.
You're a homegirl.
DMV, all day.
What's your roots here?
My roots here. Well, this is where I got my first start. I've been performing here since I was like, 3 years old. Started with dance. I went to Roosevelt High School, and
in Maryland, right?
In Maryland,
not
yes.
The
Greenbelt.
DC.
Right. Greenbelt, Maryland. Eleanor Roosevelt. And then an independent label here when I was about 16 years old. After high school one day, came to my house to audition me, to hear me sing live. I graduated high school first before I started pursuing anything professionally in music. But I'd always been singing. Dr. Baker was my teacher at Roosevelt Gospel Choir. So I was in the gospel choir in high school. My grandmother, oh my goodness, my great-great-grandmother founded a church where I was inspired to sing, and that's Kengar Baptist Church. When I was 4 years old, I just knew I wanted to sing. I didn't know what a record deal was, but that's out of Kensington, Maryland, and that's where I heard my father sing, you know, impactfully to me. He was always rehearsing in the living room or the garage when we moved on up to a house finally. And that was a big influence, Haji. And he was always performing in Allentown. At the classics.
Thing at the trade wing.
Exactly. You know, so that was a big part of my childhood. Obviously, go-go has been an influence, you know, and just all of the talent in D.C., it's everywhere. So I started a foundation called the Mya Arts and Tech Foundation in 2005, based out of Howard Road Academy, and was Miss Mya for a couple of years when the funding was there, which got cut from a lot of the school systems. But I still do stuff abroad as far as philanthropy. And I'm just bringing it back home right now, right here. And I've been on my independent journey for 7 years, a divine number, and I'm ready to get back into the mainstream. So this is the beginning, and I'm starting with my hometown first because this is where I come from and this is where my seeds were laid. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, we see you all over the world on Instagram, in Australia, in China. And you go on stage, and those people are just, they be charged up when you come out. It's just like, wow.
I mean,
how's that feel?
It's awesome. It feels great to just love what you do. And it's a blessing, and I'm very fortunate to have a career doing it. But it's all kinds of people and places that I go, and I laugh at myself sometimes because it's everything and everywhere, and you learn a lot. I mean, you learn a lot by stepping into new territory, and it's beautiful. People are a beautiful thing, and that's my inspiration in bringing people together, no matter where, what, who.
You know, there's a question that I've always wanted to ask you. I've been, you know, knowing you and your music for a very long time, but I never got the story of how you got on.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I skipped over that part.
Tell us,
so an independent
I know
label.
How you skipped over that part.
Oh, I was rambling on. I went back to childhood. I went to birth.
We have so much talent
Absolutely.
in the DMV, and your story is very valuable.
Yes, so.
To us. There's a young lady out there that needs to hear this so she can be like, oh, okay, that's how she did it. Here goes my hope right there, you know?
So I had kept singing a secret. I was in all of these activities, and sometimes it becomes work when you're a kid, but it's for a good thing. I had parents that cared, thankfully, and mentors in school and good teachers and, teachers that got on my nerves as well. But I was very motivated with music, and it did something to my soul. So what I did was practice privately until I was ready to come out.
How long did you practice?
Every day, every single day. I secretly joined gospel choir because I didn't want my parents turning into a whole family function or work. So I kept it secret because it was sacred to me. But those are the times that I got better. And when I finally got the courage, I let my parents know that, look, I want to do something with this. And I sang for them for the first time when I was 14. They had no clue, not really, before. So my father took me to a couple of studios. It's very expensive sometimes, and he called some of his musician friends to do favors, and I was in basement studios getting my recording education to understand the process. So there was that process, and then we saved up some money. It was $1,000 at the time to do a professional demo in Landover, Maryland. So it does take money, and it does take saving money and investing in yourself. So it was a professional demo. A guy named Rome. Yeah. Yes, a guy named Rome.
What studio was that?
It was, I can't remember the name of the studio, but it was in Landover, Maryland, right by Hampton Mall. And
off Central Avenue.
Central Avenue, yes. And I was 15 at the time, so it was a year later that I started that process. And those demos that we created there were professional. They were my original songs. I got to learn how to songwrite and everything, but it was a process. And those were shopped around to certain areas. So my father, being a performer in the area, met a guy named Hawk Islam, who was based in D.C. with an independent label at the time. At the time, he had signed Pure Soul, which was the gospel girl group, Stairway to Heaven, Andrew Hill out of Baltimore. So he had already had those acts, and he was looking for solo acts at the time, and particularly a female. And he was like, well, this is cute. This is nice. I see the picture. I hear the demo. I want to hear her sing live. So all of that practicing that I had been doing in school, privately, for my friends, gospel choir, little plays in high school, as well as singing a national anthem, it prepared me to be ready for that moment when I had to audition. So that's it in a nutshell. And then he was the investor that put up the money to do even more demos. I was recording in my first year of college, going back and forth on the train to Philly and working out of D.C. as well. And those were taken to the major labels. Some of them said no. And there was one that said, well, we're a rap and rock label. We don't do R&B, but we'll give this a shot. So I was just a test at a rap and rock label named Interscope Records, who had Death Row at the time, who had Marilyn Manson, who had No Doubt, the rock band. They had a lot of different acts, but it was strictly rap and rock, and they didn't do R&B at all. So I was a test my whole first album that came out.
Are you the queen of Interscope Records?
No. No. I was a test. But had I not done all that legwork and all those classes and all of those, those things, I wouldn't have been ready to say, all right, let's go. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Let me stop you right there, because that's a very... very important nugget, what you just said right there, because this generation of young people think that they can just have no practice time at all. It's a microwave career that I could just go ahead and get my song on the radio and I'm going to get signed. That's not what happened with you.
Well, it didn't happen with me that way. And sometimes it does, and that's great, because you can actually be a great entrepreneur and take advantage of it.
But the work that you put in, though, talk about how the importance of the grind and the work, though.
Well, the importance of the grind and the work is for longevity. It's okay to want something short term, as long as you know what that's about and not to have long term expectations. But if you want something long and you actually love something, you got to put in the work, just like any relationship. If you love your craft, there's always time to get better. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard trying to play a game of catch up if you don't do your homework. Anything is based in education that you want to last. And it's okay to educate yourself or shift gears, because there's a process of learning as you go as well. And then surrounding yourself around people that know the game and do it well is even greater of an education. When you're around people that are, professional and have accolades and all of that stuff, that's the best education. Sometimes to just jump in it, So there's not really one set way, but I know that if you do the legwork, that's like a cushion, and it can take you anywhere you want to go. There's always room to grow, but that legwork will definitely keep you in something a lot longer, and you can remain stable and take care of people, financially, and also teach and pass the torch.
Okay, well, thank you so much for
thank
your
you.
grind.
Thank you.
We're very proud of you. I can't speak for all of DC, but you being from here, your testimony, your story is very powerful. We appreciate you sharing it, and we appreciate you sharing the music. I want you to introduce your song right now.
What's up, DC? My first single from the upcoming project. This one is called Welcome to My World, available right now on all digital outlets, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, Beats, etc. It's your girl Mya right here on 93.9 with Easy Street. All right. Welcome to my world.